everybody. Welcome to yet another review of the Oval. So let's get right into it. So Barry had that fit of rage and drove right into the front of the pharmacy. The place is wrecked, and he gets out and he starts fighting with Kareem. And Kareem gets his gun, and they are fighting over it, and Richard ends up shot. And Sharon is trying to tend to Richard. She's saying, call 911, call 911. Nobody's doing anything. Barry's just standing there looking stupid. And Kareem's standing back there, and he's not trying to call 911 at all. And uh, what the sense that I'm getting is that he didn't want to call 911 because he wanted Richard to die. So Barry would go down for it, and he could be rid of Barry for good. That was the sense that I was getting, that he didn't want Richard to get any help, because he was just standing there like he didn't care at all. And but finally, Sharon was able to call 911, and they were asking her, is the perpetrator still there? And she's like, no, there's no danger here. So that was it for that scene. Until the very end, we didn't get more information about that until towards the end of the episode. So back at the White House, Hunter, he's still freaking out about what happened. And Victoria, she comes in, and he wanted to know, did she know that her mother was gonna show up and why she was there and all that. And Victoria said no, she had no idea that her mother was coming. And she tells him, somebody's telling my parents that everything that's happening in here, there's a leak. She warned him about that last week, but of course he's not really absorbing that information because he's still sort of like, traumatized from what happened, and clearly it's understandable why he would be. And finally he asked her if she did it, and she's like, did what? I she she doesn't she clearly doesn't know what happened, and I don't think Victoria did it or had it done. um I think Max did it because he's acting so weird. But anyway, so next Lily calls Bobby, and they have a little conversation, and he wants her to come over and all of that. And I'm not sure what the point her was calling him, but they had a little bit of a conversation. It wasn't anything too big. So at the White House, Hunter is talking to Donald, and he tells Donald he thinks that Victoria's mother had Denise killed, and he is so paranoid. He's like, they're trying to take me down. Victoria's family's trying to take me down. And he's just going off the rails right now. And then he wonders if Donald is in on it. He asks Donald if he's wearing a wire, and it is a possibility that Donald is in on. Maybe it wasn't Victoria's family. Maybe it was maybe Donald is involved with Victoria's family, and they're all working together to try to keep this whole White House scheme going. And because if Donald was willing to marry a woman, and under false pretenses, yeah, I mean he's probably willing to do some other things. So maybe he is in on it because he's very calm about the whole situation. And as the chief of staff, it seems like he would be a little bit more rattled that somebody was murdered in the White House, in the president's bedroom. Uh, and then Hunter, he starts to think that Kyle did it, which I can understand why he would think Kyle did it, but I don't think Kyle did it. But you never know what twist these stories will take. So Priscilla tries to figure out what's wrong with Jean, and Jean isn't saying a word, of course, but she can't, because she can't. And so Priscilla doesn't get anything out of her, so she just asks Sam, "Could you keep an eye on her, please?" And she also asked Sam what was going on with Richard and Nancy, and he said, "Well, I can't talk about it here." Um, and then we get more of Jean, and so Kyle he comes in and he subtly threatens her. He's like, "You're not gonna say anything," and all of that. And finally, he asks, "How's your boyfriend?" And she's like, "Why are you asking about him?" And clearly that was a threat. So Jean is in a whole mess of trouble here. And even if she quit at this point, she probably is still going to be in danger. So again, it was really a bad idea for her to lift up that sheet. So back at Richard and Nancy's house, Priscilla brings a cleanup crew. Sam had sent them. Uh, and Jody, she was out there talking to Nancy, and she's just being so nosy. And finally, she goes on because Priscilla wants to talk to Nancy alone, and she's like, Jody's like, "I'll be right over here if you need me." And she just has such a Benita betrayal vibe to her, more just like low key, not not as loud or as um, obvious as Benita, but just that kind of vibe. And Priscilla's like, she never remembers me, but she loves Sam. uh, so Nancy tells her everything that happened and about the knife and all that, and Nancy's like, Barry is so angry, and Priscilla's trying to reassure her. She's like, "That's a good boy. You raised him well." And I'm like, Priscilla, come on. You shouldn't be um you shouldn't just be saying anything to make Nancy feel better. Barry has obviously got a problem, but maybe Priscilla has not seen that. And so Jody, she comes back and she's like, "Ooh, I just saw on the TV that a truck crashed through the pharmacy. Um, and it looked like Richard's truck." And just the way she delivers her lines is just funny to me. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was just funny to me because she sounds so nosy and so gossipy. And so Nancy, she's all upset. "Lord, I can't take nothing else." And she gets, she gets overly dramatic. And so Priscilla is just gonna take her down there to see what happens. So back at the White House, Victoria, she decides to mess with Sam. She's like, "Are you faithful to your wife? Have you ever thought about cheating? And what if a woman threw herself at you?" And Sam's like, "You know what? I don't cheat. I've never thought about it. If a woman threw herself at me, I would just have to let her know that I only have eyes for my wife." And Victoria just seems to try to mess up other people's marriages because hers is not happy. First, she tried to seduce Max, and he said no. Now it's Sam, and she, she was just doing the most. And then when she didn't get anywhere with that, she tried to get information about Denise, but Sam wouldn't tell her. He's like, "We have to follow protocol." And then she's like, "Well, eventually somebody's gonna slip, and he's gonna be a very lucky man," or something like that. So Victoria, I guess she's just going to keep throwing herself at the male members of the staff to see who's going to give her information and will comply with her desires or whatever. But it doesn't seem like she wants anybody single. It's like she's going after married men because she wants to mess up marriages just because she's so uh, unhappy. So Kyle, he's I guess it was like in the break room, he was taunting Max, and Max was eating his lunch and he's like, and Kyle sounded like a bully, like a school bully. He's like, "What's that? What's that?" And he starts talking about Max's wife and talking about does she still go here or into this market and blah blah blah. And Max is just trying not to engage him because it's like Max was like like a few seconds away from pummeling him, but it's like he thought better of it. So he gets up and goes, and and Kyle's like, well, she needs to start shopping at a better market than that one on Wilson and all of that. And so Sam comes in and takes it up, and he says, you don't, don't mess with him about his wife anymore. Don't gather intel on him. Don't read his file. Doing that sort of thing can get you fired. Sam really does not like Kyle, and eh, he Sam put him in his place. Um, and then so we get a short scene with Max and Jean, and he's trying to figure out what's going on with Jean too, uh, and there's nothing Jean can say. I mean, she was praying. She had her father's army medal praying, and mm, Jean is just she's in between a rock and a hard place now. She is just screwed because she just did not keep it moving instead of trying to question what was going on in that elevator, and she has put herself in a bad position. Okay, so finally we get back to the pharmacy and Barry is arrested again. And I'm like, Barry, are you it seems like Barry just wants to go to jail. I mean, maybe not intentionally, but he just keeps doing these stupid things and harmful things, and and now his father is shot. And Kareem just seemed to take some sort of pleasure in this. He was saying, well, you're going down for this, you're going down for this. That's what he told Barry, and I'm like I said, I kind of think that Kareem wants Richard to die, so Barry will go to prison for it. So Kareem is not much. He's messed up in his own way, a way different than Barry. Barry has a bad temper, and Kareem is just some kind of, I don't know, narcissist or something. Just a really selfish guy. So so at the White House, Kyle says that he tells Donald some local is gonna take the fall for Denise's death. So that was how he fixed that, and they keep talking, and Donald gets around to asking him if he's in love with the president. He's like, and Kyle's like, no. Would that make you jealous? And they start talking about uh Lily, and Donald wants to know, did you tell her about us? Because she has pictures of us at your house. Um, where did those come from? And he's like, oh, well, yeah, I did take pictures and video because I didn't trust you at first. Um, and Donald's like, are you trying to blackmail me? Get rid of he says, get rid of him. Kyle says no, and he said, Donald's like, are you trying to blackmail me? And Kyle just goes full wacko mode, like, well, I kept them because I want the memories of what it's like to be with you. And I'm like, and I'm like, this is who you like, Donald. This is who you still like, because obviously Donald still likes him because he goes on and kisses him. And they're interrupted by a staff member coming to the door. Staff member has a soda, and Donald's like, I didn't send for that. And the guy's like, oh no, well, your wife did. And Lily's nowhere around, but she pops up. She comes out of this door, and it's like she's like, I guess it's like, now I really have the confirmation that I need. I've really seen it with my own eyes. I mean, the pictures were enough, but she actually got it live action. So I guess maybe she probably, I don't think she saw it, but I guess she could hear what was going on, and hearing was good enough. And in the preview, she's going to slap Kyle, and what she deserves it. He really deserves it. So that was the episode. It was okay. The most action was and it was Richard getting hurt. So uh and I'm looking forward to see where that storyline goes. But anyway, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.